Hey, paisans, the time has come. On the air since 2009, the independently produced, non-FCC compliant champ of video game talk podcasting. Here comes Tiger Claw Radio. Here's your host, Critical Failure.
Welcome, everybody. It's your host, Critical Failure. You are listening to Tiger Claw Radio. My goodness. Feels good to be back. We took a week off for Labor Day, and we're back at it. Got some good stuff. The summer chip contest over at Battle of the Bits has the entries have closed, and now it's in the voting phase. So we can play. Is it or is it over? I think we got results. I don't know. I played a couple of these tracks last week when we did the chiptune special, and now we're going to listen to the cream of the crop this week. In addition to that, we got some van casting, we got some goodies, and we got some good times. So, yeah, stick around, and we're going to kick things off with a chiptune. That is Seaborn from Robot Meadows, and it is the #1 track off of the most recent Summer Chip competition over at battleofthebits.org. All right, boys and girls, let's shift gears, and we're going to head to the van. Hello, everyone. We are van casting. Feels good, man. 63 degrees outside. This is my favorite time of year, the fall. The summer heat has just come to an end. but the leaves haven't fallen yet. Man, I love it. When I was a young man, I used to take the bus everywhere. I got my driver's license late in life, and I distinctly remember very early 2000s, wearing my flannel shirt and waiting for the bus, watching the leaves change. It's a good time. Always been my favorite time of year. So we took last week off because of Labor Day. And the week prior to that, we did the Chiptune special. So it's been a couple weeks since we've talked again. The big thing that happened, and I mentioned this last week, or 2 weeks ago, was that Resident Evil 2 came out on GOG.com. And, oh man, yeah, it's a great game. Told the story a bunch of times. I had Resident Evil 2 in a big box edition when it was new for the PC. And I didn't get to have... I played it a couple times because I think I expected to have it for longer than I did, and then it got thrown out. So it's like vindication for me to get that one on GOG.com. At the risk of going down the rabbit hole again, when I was that age, I had a very large collection of big box PC games. At least for the time, not I didn't have a basement full of them like LGR does or something like that, but I had a good bit. I had like 20, 30 big boxes. It's a lot. And I was uber proud of them. When I wasn't able to use the computer, I remember just staring at them, just like, yeah. I would look through them, and it's a wonderful time. And they all got thrown out because that's how life is sometimes. And sometimes your mom just throws out your stuff. Anyway, a large amount of the boxes I had became collector's items. Not all of them, but a lot of them did. For example, the Wizardry Archives, easy $100. Then there was an RPG Archives collection, which is probably like $75. It used to be $100, but it's come down a little bit. Police Quest collection, which included SWAT 1 and 2 for some reason. I don't know what that goes for anymore, but a bunch of games, and among them was Resident Evil 2. So I got the game, and I sat down with it, and I started playing it, and I think I had an easier time with the controls because I had been playing the original Resident Evil, right? That came out like a month or two ago. But I got lost pretty quickly. I made it to the police station. You get in the police station and you find a blue card to use the computer, or something to use the computer. And when you use the computer, it unlocks all the major doors so you can really get started. And then you're in a hunt for a key. And I never found the key, so I kind of got stuck. And I hadn't played it that long. I think I've clocked like an hour and a half, and I'm stuck in it, which kind of sucks. I'm running through the drive-thru getting breakfast now. Right, so I'm in a hunt for this key, and I kind of gave up. I couldn't find it, so I was like, all right, well, we'll just do like a walkthrough or something like that. And if you look up Resident Evil 2 walkthrough, you're gonna get the remake. So I had to dig for for some key locations, and then I just gave up. Other stuff to play. All right, I got breakfast. Right, so I was talking about getting lost in Resident Evil 2. So I'm definitely going to revisit that. I got held up a little bit and then distracted. After that, it's been, like I talked about on the last episode, heavy into Doom. More so than, I have been in a lot of years. I played all of the episodes that they have packed in with it, and there's a lot. Like Sigil is packed in with it, and so I can't even remember what it's called, but the one that came out just this past year that John Romero did all the levels for, Legacy of Rust. That's it, which had some custom enemies. I played all the way through that, and I reached a point where I was actually playing custom episodes that I had to like go out into the picker and find. What was the one I played? I want to say Tetanus, I think it was called, or something like Tetanus, and it took place on a beach. It was really well done, and I got into the building my own Doom levels a little bit. There's been a tool change somewhat since the last time I gave this a try. I think it's probably like 5 years ago, something like that. I don't know. I'm guessing, but thereabouts. I gave Doom mapping a try, and I was able to make some rudimentary maps that didn't work well. Well, now it's working okay. Instead of using Doom Builder 2, we're using something called GZ Doom Builder, or GZ Builder, which is almost an identical tool with like some quality of life enhancements. But you know, I'm able to create functioning doors now, which was a stumbling block for me. I made a fully functional level, which is available on the Discord. I'm not going to put it anywhere else because it's from what I understand, it's a mistake to publish your first level. So I'm not going to like go to the Doom World site and like upload it there, but it's up. You can shoot some things. There's a secret door with a chainsaw. And that's been pretty fun. And then from Doom, I moved on to a game called Jupiter Hell, which, okay, great game, first of all. So Jupiter Hell is a roguelike, and it's a remake of a game called Doom Roguelike, or DRL, that came out, you know, a lot of years prior. So here's a chain of events. 15 years ago now, on Tiger Claw TV, I made a video for a game called Doom Roguelike, Doom the Roguelike. And it was, at the time, it was an ASCII graphics rogue clone that used like Doom sound effects and stuff. Very, very good game. After I made that video, they added a tile set, and lawyers got involved. So they said, like, yeah, you can't call it Doom anymore. So I said, all right. They changed the name from Doom the Roguelike to DRL to avoid prosecution, which was clever. But the game remained available and remained free, for a long time. And then they the same people made a remake of that called Jupiter Hell that you can get on Steam for $20. And I got it on a discount. I can't remember exactly how much I paid. Probably like $6 or $7. But Jupiter Hell is still themed like Doom, but it's a little bit more, you know, it's a little bit less distinguishable, or more distinguishable. It has its own IP sort of thing, but you can clearly tell like it's supposed to be Doom. But it's cleaned up. They don't just have a tile set; they've got some animations and stuff and whatnot, and it's 3D rendered. But it's still a turn-based roguelike that plays an awful lot like Doom the Roguelike did 15 years ago. And so I was playing this game, and I really got into it. And then I found a Steam listing for something called Jupiter Hell Classic. And so what they did was they took Doom the Roguelike, with its tile set, and they're putting it on Steam. And the difference is it has Jupiter Hell theming rather than Doom theming now. So Doom the Roguelike is finally its own full-fledged IP. Called Jupiter Hell, and I just loved it to death, because even though it's a modern roguelike, it still plays traditional, to the point where when you die, you're given a text post-mortem of your character. And I love that feature, man. I love that feature. You see it in a lot of old roguelikes like Angband or NetHack. Both of those games do it. Well, Jupiter Hell does it too, to the point where like you have in game, you've got a scoreboard what'll show your top 20 scores, and you can go through that and click on any one of them, and it'll give you the postmortem of that character. And that's pretty cool. I like taking those and dumping them on the Discord and going back and reading them a lot later. So highly recommend Jupiter Hell, and I'm looking forward to Jupiter Hell Classic, which I think comes out. It says fourth quarter 2024, so it's not more than a month or two away, tops. So the developers are responding to people on Steam for Jupiter Hell Classic. And so I asked a question. The question was raised about price. What's it going to cost? And they talked about, okay, we're going to charge a little bit for it because it's costing a lot for, development costs and hosting costs. Or they listed a number of costs. Probably not hosting because it's being posted on Steam, but they were going to charge a little bit. And I said, okay, that's fair. This is a game that's been free for 20 years now. 20 years. And they want a little bit for it to be put out on Steam. That's fine. How much you guys going to put? Now, this is where it gets weird. They said they're going to charge $12, which is okay. That's fine. Any roguelike worth its salt will give you, way more time than that, So it seems worth it. But the reason they chose that amount was because they said they noticed Steam is burying games under the $10 mark. So they had to choose an amount that was over $10 to stop it from getting buried. And I thought that was like, come on, Steam, get it together. Because now Steam's weirdness is literally costing the end user money that they wouldn't have to pay. So that's some things that's happened in my personal life in terms of gaming in the past, I don't know, few weeks. So I'm actually back in my office now. I'm going to send you guys back to the studio so I can eat this breakfast I just got. I'll see you there. Back again in the studio. We're going to return to the Summer Chip compilation and play their number 2 track. And this is... I can't remember if we played this at the Chiptune special or not, but it's their number 2. It's a big collaboration between a bunch of people. And it's right here on TCR. All right, back again in the studio. Let's see. So we just passed the 20-minute mark. So usually right around the 20-minute mark, I like to remind everyone it's a Patreon-sponsored program, and that's what keeps me coming back and keeps the lights on week after week, year after year. And so, as a tradition here on TCR, I like to read their names off in a hall of distinguished gentlemen, and they are Tecmo Balls, Darabka, and Sendu of Light Studios. EmeraldRangers.com. EmeraldRangers.com. Check it out. And thank you guys very much. And I hope you're enjoying the party. Okay. That said, let's take a look at some failbag stuff. Now, it's been a couple of weeks. So, last week was the Chiptune special. So let me pop over to EmeraldRangers.com. And what do they have? Pirate Party, the band, to return with a brand new album, Pirate Pandemonium. Oh, yeah. We have Green Phoenix saying, let's talk Sonic, Wonders of the World. And then the Chiptune special. And then the last actual episode, we talked about ROMhacking.net closing. And it's probably more accurate to say they're pulling their downloads, because it looks like they're staying up as a news-only site, and their downloads are moving to archive.org. So, yeah. That's terrible. I mean, it's great that the downloads will still be around, in a matter of speaking. At least they've taken steps to prevent, digital decay or digital loss, right? But, man, what a cultural hub for ROM hacking that is just not there. It really sucks. I can't imagine it'd stick around a whole lot longer, without without the ROM hacks, without the one thing that people go there for. But anyway, over on EmeraldRangers.com, we got one from Death Adder. He writes, how is Sea of Thieves 2024, you ask? The highs are high and the lows are the deepest, darkest of lows. I like it, but at the same time, I don't think I can recommend it because of how bad the community can be at times. But I'm like a hair away from hitting Pirate Legend, so I can't stop until then. LOL. And if you're listening, he actually spaced out with dashes. There is a Safer Seas mode where you can play without any PvP combat, in case you just want to pirate in peace. But you get less coin, and it's not worth it in my opinion. Also, yes, it's cross-platform from Xbox to Steam community, recently PlayStation. And as with any game that's not a fighting game, it seems mouse and keyboard players have an advantage. Man, so many Dooms. I saw a video of Doom running on NES recently. Do you think that after all these years, we've passed the NetherRealm, that Steam will be releasing new packages of Doom 1993? I saw that the NES thing for Doom as well, and I don't know what to think about it, because it's not really Doom, is it? It's more like if I made Doom for the Thumbie, and I was like, hey, it's Doom. No, it's the game you made that kind of looks like Doom. I don't know, that's a bit of a pessimist to me. Yeah, Doom runs on everything. Doom has become the symbol of the game that we can all develop for, that has an endless sea of stuff developed for it already. It's the symbol of a game that does not belong to the developers anymore, but rather to the community. As much as we see that shift when new modes, new versions get released, like the Doom 1 plus Doom 2 thing that we have on all platforms. But man, I tell you what, you can download GZ Doom, and it's just as good, if not better, than the new stuff that they released, the new one they released. Don't get me wrong, the new one's really, really good, but the best part about the new Doom, the new Doom release, is that easy access to some of the huge mods. So if you are savvy enough to open a browser and find the page with all the mods on it, then you don't need it, But that's enough Doom. As far as Sea of Thieves, I might one day. But You talk about the community being toxic. What gaming community is not toxic? Here's one for you. I used to play a lot of Killing Floor. And the first time I ever played Killing Floor, if you're not familiar, it's a 6-person cooperative FPS. And it's a wave-based. And the first time I ever played it, I got into a random server with random people, and somebody was standing in a doorway that we needed to get through to get to the trader. There's no bump physics, so you can't move other players, and you also can't move through them. So he was successfully blocking everyone from getting what they needed to win. And that was my first experience with Killing Floor. And by the way, Killing Floor is getting ready to release Killing Floor 3. So the point I'm trying to make is it doesn't have to allow PvP for a toxic community to be toxic. Just look at Dead by Daylight, right? how much bullying goes on in that game, or so much so that several years back they had to release a patch that made it so that you couldn't hold the game hostage anymore, and now that's like a big part of the game when like the overtime timer starts. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to feel about it. At a certain part of me is like, that kind of toxicity is just is part of the charm. Because I kind of remember it fondly. At the time, I was beyond butthurt. I was so mad when the door was being blocked in that Killing Floor. Because I just bought the game. I was like, I spent however much this game costs, and you're blocking the way. But it's also kind of funny to look back on. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. I do know that whatever they institute to stop that from happening is going to be way worse than dealing with it every once in a while. I'll say that much. But all right, man. It's always good to hear from you, brother. I hope you're doing well.
Rocket launcher.
All right, so a day has passed because I had some issues getting it out. We read the thing from Death Adder. Let's jump over to YouTube and see what we have there. Okay. YouTube Studio. All right. Now we're going to go to comments. All right. Mecha Menace says it's obviously a shame that such a ROM hacking resource is gone. The creator's post about the shutdown stated files would be saved to will be uploaded to archive. I looked into the reason behind the shutdown. From the words of the creator and others, it's pretty convoluted. I don't know whom to believe. I agree with you. I couldn't find a black and white, this is why it was shut down. And usually, if you can't find something like front and center, then it ends up being a bunch of finger pointing. Chiptunes equals win was a great example of that. It's this big service. They had all these chiptune albums, these compilations that really rocked that whole community, and then one day it just disappeared. And when you look into why, it's just a bunch of finger pointing, and it's just it's just how it is. That's the internet at its worst, unfortunately. But yeah, I thank goodness that at least we have data backed up on archive.org. Thank goodness we have at least that. And I think that's it from my podcasting stuff. We talked something that missed the air was the Suffering games. While I was off the air, the Suffering games were pulled from GOG. We had a brief heads up about it at the end of August, and on September 1st they got pulled. So I made a quick video about it because I knew I wasn't going to get to the next podcast before it happened. And Bioshock Boy 21, he writes, such a sad time, to be honest. Thankfully, I have a rare PC Polish port of both games, and they run beautifully, just in a different language. I also have the GOG versions, but it's sad that they got taken down. Such an awesome series. Yeah, man, it always sucks when something like this happens. Jurassic Raid writes, I think the reason behind the delisting is because Warner Brothers is trying to sell off their games division. I'm definitely picking them up before September 1st. Yeah, and there you go. It's business as usual, and the consumer gets the short end of the stick. And that's just how it goes. Here's one for you. Over on Epic Games, their free games right now, at least for the next 2 days, are Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts and Football Manager 2024. I've dipped my toe into these sports management games a lot over the past few years, and Football Manager is sort of like the king of that genre, and I don't think I've ever really seriously given it a shot. I've got the 2011 edition, and I don't think I've messed with it much, but this is not a cheap game, and it never gets cheap. It retails for $60, and rather than the price being cut, they just pull it from the market at the end of the year when the next one comes out, so it never really does get cheap. So the fact that it became the free Epic game for the next couple days is really cool, and I might actually go as far as to install an Epic game in order to try it. But that is one thing that I love about our Discord. You know, my Discord is like a lot of Discords. It's just, it sputters. It's a sputtering community. It's basically this generation's version of AOL websites that we had 20 plus years ago. But I have a nice bot that tells me every time a new football manager game, a new Epic game goes for free. And Sean, Darabka, that maniac, will go in there and post if he spots like a GOG giveaway. And that's not a bot. That's just him doing manual bro work, which I've scored a couple of games from him doing that. So that is one really awesome thing that I'm able to say my Discord has, which is cool. So that's it for this week on TCR. Whatever it is you got going on in your life, I hope it goes well for you. Thank you for spending some time listening to some chiptunes and talking about some video games. I thoroughly appreciate it. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week.